Hey everybody, it's the weekend. It's time for another video. This one's not a monster video. I'm going to be talking about something else I'm kind of infamous for in my role-playing games, which is the magic items that I use in my D&D games. Now, I'm of the opinion that magic items are really cool. They're one of the most important things with fantasy settings because they're that everyday fantastical item. They're things that player characters most want to get, and as a player I'm always looking for really cool magic items, and as a DM I'm always looking at giving my players the most awesome things that I can find and come up with, and that's quite often not stuff which is in the books but stuff that I've come up with myself. And one of the things I really love is the whole concept of it's a handmade device that's created by somebody who's kind of studying as they go and they're producing this masterwork, or it's a workaday item that's been produced en masse by some wizard, alchemist, or something somewhere, according to some arcane formula. But maybe they didn't get it quite right. The components that go into making it are very, very expensive or hard to come by, and you're not just going to toss it if it works almost as good. And occasionally you'll have one which you get absolutely right and it works even better than advertised. So to give an example, I had you've got an item called a immovable rod, so you push the button on the end of it and the thing just sort of locks in place regardless of where it is. It can just be hovering in the air and won't move. It's sort of locked into the fabric of reality. So I thought to myself, what if that didn't quite work like that? And I ended up creating this thing called a slightly moving rod. So you hit the button and you apply some weight to it and it slowly slides, in whatever angle the thing is. So it had enormous amounts of practical uses in the game because when the players got hold of it, then their imaginations just took over and they used it in all sorts of things that I never even imagined they would use it for. But I gave them that opportunity to just come up with something. Well, here it is. That's the thing in the game. So do what you will. So yeah, malfunctioning items are also quite fun, like a flying carpet, for instance, which shorts out whenever it gets anywhere near electricity and just drops from the sky. That can be fun and terrifying for the players, but once they figure it out, it can be quite useful. Never be afraid to give them something which has got an a unexpected side effect, because they will turn the tables and end up using it against you in the game. And give them that opportunity to do so. Let them have that moment of triumph where they go, "Ha ha! Turn your weakness into our strength." So items that don't quite work as advertised are fantastic, like the slightly moving rod, or a portable hole, which occasionally you'll put something in and you put your hand in the hole and then it'll pop up next to you. Like, what the, how's it doing that? That could have uses. So you could maybe, I don't know, put it through around the other side of a wall or something and put your hand in this side and your hand comes out the other. I don't know. You just never know what's going to come up in the game. Or items that work really well. So you hit the immovable rod and everything in a 10-foot radius can't move, for instance. And it only does that once every 3 or 4 days at random, and you just don't know when it's going to do it. Or maybe you know that it's going to happen if you do it 5 times, and the sixth time it's going to work amazingly well and lock down everything. Or everything that even looks like a rod is going to stop moving suddenly. So arrows will just freeze in midair. You know, just come up with really random stuff. Make random roll tables for yourself for any item that you give out, or make whole lists of wondrous items and just play with what the wondrous item could possibly be if it didn't work quite well, or had a random malfunction, or worked overly well. Come up with items that run on hit points, for instance. So the characters, every time they use it, they're draining their own life force. And that makes it a deadly but very effective thing. You don't have to worry about charges because the characters take care of it themselves. You just got to keep track of your character's hit points and you'll be fine. Particularly useful items could have a scaling of power depending on how many hit points you funnel into them, and it can come up with a really sort of dark aspect to a campaign where cultists are using victims to power the magical items to perform whatever deeds they do. And you can have wizards who behave very much like superheroes because they've created suits of magical artifice for themselves that allow them to fly and shoot energy blasts and deflect arrows, that sort of stuff. And perhaps they do actually act like superheroes, flying titans of amazing power. So yeah, why not? Absolutely. Not every single wizard has to be some guy who's making stuff for other people. you would like to think that if they put that much effort into it, they're mainly making it for themselves. So a world where a lot of the items are actually designed for wizards to do wizardy stuff makes a lot of sense, really, when you think about it. Yeah, or divine artifacts and things which are specifically made to do a certain thing or cast out a certain beast. Yeah, so think about the ecology of your magic items and come up with some interesting lame ducks or weird quirks or items that become legends in your own group. I mean, a whole campaign can be enriched by a device which they've figured out how to do something which outsmarts you. And yeah, always give them their opportunity to do so. Thanks for watching.